All right. Period. So let's see. We're pulling up. Glam Girl 101 is pulling up to your block. We should be live on YouTube. Let me make sure we're live on Instagram. Yes. Okay. So we're live on Instagram and YouTube. Hello. It's after hours. Why? Because it's final exam time. I'm so excited. So, you know me. And if you don't know me, hello. It's your girl. Let me make sure actually the images that you see before you are in the right presentation. Wouldn't it be crazy if you're trying to read my badge and it's backwards? So there we go. These are my credentials. I'm your educator, and I'm here to let you know that Glam Girl 101 is a course where you can find your greatest version. This is where pretty meets purpose. So here we go. The graduation is about to be here. Final exams are being submitted. We have Jasmine Williams today, and she's going to be submitting her final exam. I'm so excited because I know it's going to be good. So before I continue any further, let me actually tell you what the final exam is even about. Let's see. While I'm pulling that up, whoever is here, say what's up. Where are you in the chat? Give us a holler. Are there any Glam girls here? Or if you're new, go ahead and say new, but I do want you to announce yourself so we can properly say hello. Period. So the final exam. So the final exam is called the face card defense. And this is what's happening today. Students are going to come into class, eventually be full glam, and in school colors, which is navy and baby pink. So what's happening today is live. All right. Each student will present their 20-minute face card defense. This is their final exam, and it's a requirement in order to graduate. What's required? You must defend. Defend your glow up. You're going to share your before versus after and how Glam Girl 101 has transformed you. Because this is an identity shift. This is not a podcast. You're going to look at the weekly lessons in action. We should see that the weekly lessons that were taught definitely made an impact on you. The weekly lessons are available on the Instagram syllabus. I would tell you more about it, but I want you to do your research because I want you to join Glam Girl 101 in the fall if you missed it in the summer. So the weekly lessons in action is going to reflect. It should reflect in you. You're going to reflect on at least 3 themes from the course and how you applied them. The next thing you're going to do in your final exam is your face card never decline statement. We want something powerful. End with a powerful proof of why you're ready to graduate. And that's it. So that's what's happening today. And I do want to share a word for those of you who are absolutely going to be submitting your final exam, which is due today and tomorrow, because graduation is pulling up on us this weekend. So this Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, had to think about that. So I want to talk about this. This course has been full of wonderful young women ready to make radical change in their identity, ready to take what the devil stole for them and just step into who they've always been and get out of their own way. Using these glam techniques, it's going to give you a boldness and inner confidence where you're not going to shrink in rooms that you need to grab the mic in. So I want to talk about the parable of the lost sheep. This class is the second round. The first round we did on TikTok. This round we did on Instagram and YouTube. This class was quite small, but it was so intimate and it was perfect. It was exactly what it needed to be. And here's why. This is the parable of the lost sheep. So Jesus in Luke 15 tells a story that's not real. That's why it's called a parable, where it just goes into detail about leaving the 99 for the one. So Luke 15, chapter 15, Luke 15, words are hard, Luke chapter 15, verse 3. Finally found it. Then Jesus told them this parable. Suppose one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them. Doesn't he leave the 99 in the open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it? And when he finds it, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders and goes home. Then he calls his friends and neighbors together and says, "Rejoice with me. I have found my lost sheep." I tell you that in the same way, there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who do not need to repent. The reason why I'm telling this story is it doesn't matter how many individuals graduate this course. It matters that the people who do graduate become unrecognizable. I want you to make such a change in your life that after this course, you can't even go back to being the same person. And if I did that for even one of you, I'm in purpose. Now, Jasmine is going to take over and submit her final exam because she is absolutely doing this on purpose and in purpose. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm so excited. Hey, we got some people here, Avery and Jerry. What's good? It looks like you guys have some great comments in the chat. Make sure you keep these comments up and cheer for your girl Jasmine while she presents. Looks like we have Autranel, Isis, and Alicia, period. Girls, grab a seat. I hope you have a snack, but sit tight because Jasmine's going to take the mic and she is going to slay. I don't know what she has cooked up, but I know it's good. Here we go. Here we go. Jasmine, are you ready, girl? Let's see. All right. Let me go ahead and cam down so she
What's
can take
backwards?
over. There we go. Let me try to help you really quickly. Let me see. Can you see me? Okay,
Yes.
can you see me? Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So go to the settings bar. Do you see the little toolbar at the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay, click that and then go to video.
Yeah.
And then you should see mirror camera at the bottom of the two drop downs.
Got it. Okay.
There we go. Locked and loaded, girl. All right, you got it.
Alrighty. So I titled this Jasmine's Glam Girl Final Project, Where Beauty Meets Brain. Hi, my name is Jasmine, and I am a transfer student to High Maintenance High, and I've been a glam girl since birth. I'm going to take you through my journey of beauty, style, and growth. There she is. These are my credentials. There's little Princess Jasmine in her little red dress that her mama picked out for her and all of the ruffles. My Easter outfit with a lot of lace. I always love the lace and the little hat. She's so adorable. I was always church ready. I had my blazer, which is red and white. I wish I still had that. I would wear it today. Another little red and white dress and my polka dot dress, which I loved. And my auntie actually made this outfit for me. And you can see her there, the little diva that she was, or that she is, and still am today. So you might be thinking, okay, if you've been all that, then why did you take the class? And I'm glad you asked. I'm going to take you guys on a journey in time while I do my signature look, which is soft glam. All right, so let's go over our products. I've already done my skin prep because without your skin prep, your makeup is going to look cakey and crusty, and we don't want that. So what I've been using is the niacinamide, the Good Molecules niacinamide toner, and the La Roche-Posay thermal moisturizer. When I tell you that my skin barrier has been perfected by these two, it has, and I love it. I hope they never stop making those. I also use the e.l.f. primer. It's not a primer. Well, it is a primer, but it's a sunscreen. And I always use this. It does dub as a primer, but I don't use it as a primer. What I do use for my primer is the liquid poreless putty. I also, for my base, I use the Double Wear, the Estee Lauder, and I am in shade 5 in 2 Amber Honey, and then also the 5 in Double Wear. What I love about what Estee Lauder has done with the formulation is that they actually made these complementary. So even though this is a 5 and this is a 5, this is actually a shade lighter so that you can just get the set together. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I like to put it on the back of my hand, the foundation on the back of my hand. I'm using a Real Techniques Kabuki brush. I love this brush. I need to get another one though, because this one is almost at the end of its life. Am I going to throw it away right now? Absolutely not. I'm going to use it, but I will get another one. All right. That I don't actually use bronzer, but this does have a red tint to it. So it does kind of dub as my bronzer. And you got to get it in the hairline, girl, because it will show and you will be clocked. I've been there. It happens. So I do push it into my ears a little bit, and then I bring it down my neck as well. The 5 in is a little bit more neutral than what my skin is, so I do take it all over my face so that I can get some of that red pigment in there. And then I take my concealer and put it in the areas where I want the light to hit my face the most. Okay, so let's talk about what I mentioned about being a glam girl since birth. You see, this class for me has helped peel back layers of trauma. Woo, I'm not gonna cry today. It has peeled back layers of trauma that I was still carrying around like crumpled pieces of paper and didn't even know it. Namely, shame and insecurity due to emotional and sexual abuse. And lo and behold, the first day that I actually went live on this class, Miss Banks called me out, and I appreciate her for it, because the Lord had dropped shame in my spirit, and then immediately she was like, after listening to everything that I said to her, she said, "You know, you're dealing with shame." And so that immediately let me know that she's hearing from the Lord. And this class is much bigger than us just doing makeup. This class is much bigger than us just doing hair. This class is much bigger than that. It's a divine appointment. And the Lord is calling each one of us higher. And I'm going to show up. While I was working on this project specifically, I was crying. I feel like even working on this project was a healing moment for me because, and you'll see the pictures, I was looking at me over the years and looking at that little girl. I remember how daring, how outspoken, how bold that little girl was. And she was the epitome of confidence. And it was almost like, I am woman, hear me roar. Like nothing could tear that little girl down. And she did her best to be beauty and brains, which is something that her mom instilled in her, and she's been reminded of in this class. That it's okay to be beauty while you're having brains. And while the adults around her did their best, the devil definitely came in like a roaring lion and found every opening to bring in sin, dysfunction and generational curses to destroy her. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my brows. If I can find my NYX pin. I laid out everything before class, and that one's missing. One moment. Where's my bag? Okay. Ooh, the devil is a liar. My brows are actually a part of my signature look. Even if I just wear no foundation and concealer, I will always have my brows done. I will always have my brows done, and I keep my lips looking nice. And I cannot find it. That's okay. I'll skip it for now, and I will think of something else to do for my brows. Normally, what I would do at this point is fill in my brows. And then I have this like straight head, if I can call it, it's a straight brush, and I carve out my brows. We might just do this without me doing the NYX pen. I love that pen. And when I discovered that pen, it was like, yep, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep that for sure. Thankfully, my brows have grown in because I was definitely that girl in the 90s that plucked her eyebrows to death. And I spent some time growing my eyebrows back in. Praise God. I do dab just a little bit on my actual lid area just because I kind of use this as part of my eyeshadow routine. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. You definitely don't want to put too much because you will have a lot of creasing in the eye area, in the eyelid area, which I have been a victim of before. The eyes are not really made to hold that much concealer, so you definitely want to, or even if you use just like an eyebrow, like a primer, not an eyebrow primer, a eyeshadow primer, you don't want to put it on too thick. You want to put just enough in a nice thin layer so that it kind of mutes out the area. Going back to my story, I want to go to the next slide. And I want to show you guys Jasmine a little bit more grown up. We talked about divine appointments. It's true there. All right. So this is me. Me in my 20s. Probably 17 and up, but me in my 20s. I call this my party girl era. And then losing myself entirely. I loved makeup. My hair, I went through so many different phases with my hair. I've been blue, I've been red. I kind of went through like a punk rock phase. Constantly decorating myself, constantly dressing up. I even had like a little bit of an Afrocentric Afro-Caribbean time because I loved the Jamaican club, hanging out with the Nigerians. That was a thing for me. Um, the music is just popping. And so I actually have some gospel Afro-Caribbean music because I just love it. All right. So I looked like this, but looking back, I was dealing with so much low self-worth. And I was a mixture of anxious, avoidant attachment and attached myself to partners that fueled it. I was broken inside and trying to numb myself from the hurt I felt. And boy, did I accomplish that, or so I thought. I was determined to not look like how I felt. And while my makeup style has changed a lot over the years, well, this phase is the party girl era. And I've worked hard, I partied harder, and I tried to make sure that I did not look like what I had been through. But if anybody knew me personally, they would know how many tears I cried looking at the bottom of a bottle and sometimes with pills in my hand. Alrighty, so we are going to turn it back here and continue our makeup routine. So where were we? We're on brows. Okay. So right now I'm using the Sweet Honey by why is the name escaping me? Y'all can see the brand. I can't, yes, One Size, thank you, because I was like, why can I think? um I have almond shaped eyes, and so I have these, they're not bags, but there's a lot of creasing. So what I like to do is I use a powder puff, and I love this. I love this powder because it is a fine milled powder, and I will dust it so that it can spread evenly on my powder puff. And I will just go in and clean up any creasing because it definitely creased while I was talking. And I do my best to keep looking up. I will also do my smile lines because these days I smile a lot and I want to make sure that it doesn't get deeply wrinkled during the day, that my makeup doesn't crease a lot during the day. Now, y'all don't laugh because I do this here and I'm telling you this trick works so that you can keep your smile lines filled in. And I will do the same thing on the other side. Actually, I didn't get any powder on my puff. Same thing on the other side. I have a little mirror here. This is hard trying to do at the same time. So we're just gonna do one at a time instead. This powder also brightens up my under eyes a little bit. I take a little bit on my lids because everywhere there's cream, I set. I am a combo skin girly and I have to set everywhere where there's liquid. Otherwise, I will have creasing and everything will look oily. And I do my best not to get my brows that I filled in very nicely. And then I just take the rest of it and put it on my forehead. The second powder that I use is the Laura Mercier powder, setting powder, and it is medium deep. And I use this for the perimeter of my face. I have a powder brush. I just dip it in a bit, tap off the excess, and then I go around the sides of my face. my contour step, and I have another Real Techniques brush. It has a dual end, and I tap right underneath my cheekbone. I have bones thanks to genetics. When I put this on my cheekbone, though, I will not go all the way down. I used to go much further, but then I learned if I go further than my eye, it just drags my entire face down. So I will just go and tap it in here a bit. And it looks a little harsh, but we're going to clean it up. I contour my nose a bit, which I was getting ready to forget. And I use the other end to go up into my brows. I like the way it looks. It does just make my face look a little bit more sculpted. I have an oval face, but sometimes it can look a little bit round. And I like just looking a little more snatched. You know what I mean? I just like it. I used to bring it down here, but then I noticed that it was too much of a change in my skin and I just didn't like it. Where my neck and the bottom of my chin meets, because the bottom of my chin is already a lot darker than my neck, and so I don't want there to be now a really dark shadow here and making it look even more stark than it needs to. All right, let's go back to our sorry. Okay. All right. So there was a period in my life where I was heading down a dark path, and it led me into witchcraft. It led me away from the Lord. It actually led me away from my family. And I ended up homeless. And the Lord did such a miraculous work in my life that there was no other choice for me but to give my life to Him. One thing that I knew when coming to the Lord is that I would have to die to myself. And with that, I wanted to get rid of the girl that I was before. The caveat was that I did not need to get rid of the glam parts of her, but I did learn a lot during this season. And so I wanted to show this period of time where I wore absolutely no makeup when I first came to the Lord. Um, this is me, absolutely no makeup, just living life and learning and getting closer to the Lord. Um, it this was a period of my life that really helped shape my mind and shape my heart, because I had a lot of unlearning to do and to learn how to live my life as a child of God and as a daughter of God, a daughter of the King. It it's much different than living in the world. And he refined me, and he showed me what having a good father really was. Because, as I said before, I grew up with a lot of trauma. I grew up with a lot of dysfunction in my family and generational curses. My parents did their best, but there was a lot of things that I feel like I did not learn. Looking good, I learned, but some of the things like conflict management or how to carry yourself as a young lady, some of those things I didn't learn all the time because I was watching a lot of fights and arguing and yelling all the time, and then was actually a part of some of that um, as I grew up as well. Now, this side here is when I feel like the Lord was like, okay, you're in a great place. Let me tell you now that you don't have to let go of the glam. You don't have to let go of it. And so you can see here, I started to color my hair again. And I went through a little bit of a phase trying to figure out what shades. I'm a neutral, cool, olive tone skin girly, and I had to relearn my face all over again. And my skin at 20 years old is not the same skin I think 33 or 32. And so Here, this is a picture I picked up. My blush was just not, it wasn't the right tone. I loved pink, but it wasn't the right tone. I was looking highly Caucasian right here. And then this one, I love this picture, but I was a little bit yellow. I was getting my oomph back for how I wanted to do my makeup, but it was just a little bit too yellow. And then this was probably one of the last times that I actually put a ton of eyeshadow on and just did the most because we did a 90s look. And then for this one, I was just too green, girl. I was just too green. The olive just was taken over. And so this is also where I ended up, and this is my signature style. Now, this is when I was younger, so I actually realized like, oh, I've kind of always done a soft glam with a bold lip. I didn't even realize it. And it's changed over time, but there's that famous brown lip that I had to find all over again. And as you can see, my hair's changed, my makeup's changed. Um, but now this is me, the more refined version, and I love her. It took me a long time to love her. It took me a long time to forgive her. And even still with this class, I had a lot of shame. I knew how to look good. I knew how to have charisma to hide the things that I was going through. Um, but just going through this class has really taught me that I can be both. I don't have to get rid of being that girl. I don't have to get rid of having fun with my hair and with my clothes and with my makeup and my nails. I even stopped doing my nails. Um, but it's good for me to have a more refined and signature look. Alrighty, so let's finish my makeup and then we will talk some more. Alrighty. So where are we at? Powder, 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 contour, blush. Okay, so right now I'm using the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush. I absolutely love this blush. I have used some really expensive blushes, and this one is only I think $4.99 or $5.99, and the way it just melts into my skin, ugh, I never want to live without it. I would want them to come out with some new shades though, just because I'm a brown girl. So it can be a little bit light. And so y'all see me going up in here, I'm getting some color out. I'm getting some pigment out. And I thought tap off the excess. And I have a round face, right? And so I learned what placement looks good on my face. So I like to stay at my temples. I'll take it up into my temples and I put it at the very high points of my cheeks, of my cheekbones. And then I just blend it up. And then I will blend it down. And remember how I said the contour was a little bit too stark? I blend over it and it just melts them together so nicely. And I do the same thing on the other side. So we're talking about how I had lived my life and fallen into a dark on a dark path. And there were a lot of different things that actually went on in my life. A couple of things that drove me into witchcraft, which for me looked like crystals, it looked like tarot cards, it looked like angel readings, it looked like being a psychic medium and even doing readings for other people. I didn't realize that I was not only leading myself to destruction, but I was leading other people to destruction too. I also like to add a little bit of the blush on the tip of my nose. Not on the tip of my nose, but like right between the bridge and the tip of my nose. Um, with all the partners and all the things that I was doing while I was living the club life, I also had a lot of deaths in my family. And my nana passed away, and she was a huge pinnacle in my life when it came to the Lord, because even when my parents stopped going to church, she still took me to church. And so all the way up until I was about age 10, I went to church with her, and she went to Apostolic Pentecostal church. So we was at church from sun up to sundown. And that was probably one of the reasons too why I kind of stopped wearing makeup when I first came to the Lord, because I had this mindset that I had to not wear makeup, because we didn't wear makeup, we didn't wear pants, we didn't, everything was just covered from head to toe, and no earrings, no jewelry. And by all means, I have the utmost respect for them, because they are wanting to honor God with the way that they show up in the world. But there was a scripture that came to my heart, and it's actually one that Miss Banks told us in class as well. And I'm just going to paraphrase it. It's to not adorn your outside without first adorning your inside. And I feel like in that period when I started wearing makeup again and I started doing my hair, the Lord kept bringing that scripture back to me, because I was struggling so much with feeling a heaviness of what I had learned, and learning that the Lord was not saying that I could not adorn my outside, that I could not decorate my outside, but He was saying that I had to have my heart right. And so my nana had passed away. My mom passed away. She was another huge cheerleader in my life, even with all the different traumas and things that we all dealt with my dad. She always treated me like her superstar, and she would call me that, and she would call me sweet pea. And so coming to the Lord and not well, let me back up, because I was talking about how I was going into witchcraft. It was because I wanted to talk to them. It was because I wanted to have, and I'm doing the wrong part, because I wanted to have that connection with them. And the Lord turned it around for me, and He took me to church, and He brought me to people that felt like family to me and really healed my heart. You see, there's layers to the things that I've been through. And just like this class that peeled back some layers of shame and just from my past and the things that I've been in, God has continued to do that and helped me to rebuild my life. So we're going to go ahead and finish my makeup, and then we'll talk to the rest. Okay, so I put the blush on. I am, where am I at? Okay, I actually use the Maybelline Master Chrome Face Studio. I love it. It has, okay, I do love it, but there was one that I found at the beauty store that had this like beautiful gold. Oh, this thing looked like 24 karat gold, and I just absolutely loved it. But I do like this one because it's super pigmented. I don't have to put a lot. I use an angled brush just so that I can get right into the corners, and I just put it outside of the corner, but it's okay. And I have this fan brush that I love. And I like to put just some highlighter on the top of my cheek, the top of my cheekbones. So everywhere the light hits is gonna grab that. Ugh, I love this. I missed doing makeup so much, you guys. I really struggled with that. And it was nice to feel back. But I still struggled with that. And I didn't realize that I still struggled with some of the things, feeling shame and kind of wanting to get rid of my old life, until I was doing this project, which was crazy, because I'm like, man, I was even carrying shame surrounding me doing my makeup, like the way that I prayed and just talked to God when Miss Banks brought that up for me, because I want to live my life free and free of things that had been holding me back. Just even down to just the negative self-talk that I picked up over the years from having just emotional abuse happen, and then the enemy using that and using my past to call me all kinds of names, everything but a child of God. Right now I am using the, hold on, let me show you. It's the Cali Ray mascara. It's a tubing mascara. Again, I have combo oily skin, and when I use regular mascara, I'm gonna have the raccoon eyes like nobody's business. And for the life of me, using waterproof mascara, like trying to take it off when my life is so busy, has just been a thing. And so my compromise has been using a tubing mascara. And I'm just looking down in the mirror here so that, oh, one thing I do love about this is how thin this brush is, so it gets all the little hairs. I have relatively long lashes, and I want every single hair to be coated with mascara. I will say, if you try out a tubing mascara, try a couple of them, because not all of them, they're not going to look like a waterproof mascara. Waterproof mascara is going to give you that va va boom, which I absolutely love and adore. This is just a compromise for me, and this one still gives me long lashes. And I realized that I just forgot to put my setting spray on, and to show you that, because I never do this way. Tubing mascara creates tiny, flexible, yes. Yes, it does. It coats each lash. Well, you guys see the explanation there. It's so fun to take off too, because I can just get some warm water and concentrate it as much as I can on my lash area, and then pull gently, and you can see this come off in like little strips. If you've used a tubing mascara, you know what I mean, and it looks really cool. I did get a little bit of mascara on my lid, but I'm also going to show you guys how to take it off. I'm not going to do my bottom lashes because I'm going to put my setting spray on and it's going to run down because it's water. It's a liquid. The setting spray, it's a multitasking spray, but this is really to melt down my makeup. I use the NYX Bear With Me to just melt down my makeup. Something I did forget to do while I'm looking at my face now is put a little bit of blush. This is my little trick that I like, so that I'm not always doing 7 steps on my eyes. I put a little bit of my blush, and do I have blush blindness sometimes? Maybe, but I love it. Even if I'm not wearing foundation, I will put blush on, because the blush is almost like my favorite part of my makeup routine. I just love it. And for a brown girl, I don't get red. So to be able to just see it, oh, it makes me feel like a pretty princess. And I know that makes me sound like a juvenile. But it just does. And I love being a princess. And that was also one other thing that I learned. Let me go ahead and put the setting spray on. You gotta drench your face, girl. You gotta drench your face. You want your makeup, your powders, because y'all see me put all that powder. I drench my face so that all the powders can set. I had a little fan, but then the fan broke. I need to get another one. So what was I saying? Looking like a princess. It'll come back to me. So let's talk about pretty privilege. Pretty privilege is something that I've had the pleasure of having all of my life. Um, Even a period when I didn't wear makeup, I still had people approaching me. I do feel like there is a period of time though when you first come to the Lord that He's hiding you. And that worked out for me because I just wanted to stay in His presence at that moment. But I learned how to use all of this, my clothes, my jewelry, my face, my makeup, um, as an armor. And I love that Miss Banks said that. She said, that's your armor. And it is like having the full armor of God on, except I was using it to hide myself rather than using it in a way that would elevate me. It was actually causing me to feel like nobody could see me if I had this on. It's almost like being in customer service and having a bad day. I can talk and be charismatic and I can smile and nobody can see the brokenness. And I can do my makeup that day and I can put on all the clothes and I can do everything that I possibly can just so nobody could see how I was feeling. And I forgot to tie my hair back. Y'all thought I forgot about the school colors? I didn't. It was here the whole time. And so I learned how to use it as armor to combat all the negative words and actions. But looking back to when I was in my 20s, I also definitely used my powers for evil and not good. Because at some point after being abused, there were some moments in my life where I actually became the abuser. And whew, to know how far the Lord has brought me and the temperament that I have now, I was a spitfire back then. And the fire that I have, like a fire shut up in my bones for the Lord, I am a force to be reckoned with in the spirit. And I remember there was a live that Miss Banks was doing, and she was like, "In a devil in hell that's about to stop me from doing what God has called me to do." And so that's how I live my life in the spirit. But mentally, emotionally, I still had a lot of broken pieces, carrying everything around underneath it all. And it just became my way of life. And I clearly did not even realize that I was doing that. And I'm just so grateful for this class to bring that up to the surface so that I could stop doing that. Okay, so that setting spray has set. I was using the one size, which I absolutely adore. I'm trying out the L'Oreal Infallible 3-minute setting spray. This one's a finishing spray, actually. It's gonna lock. When I tell you it's gonna lock that makeup in. Okay? And it dries down. Woo! Woo! Okay. And it dries down so quickly. It's crazy. But you see why I didn't want to finish my mascara while I was doing that. We're gonna do our bottom lashes. Okay, there's a lot of makeup tips. I know I've talked a lot about internal things, but there are a lot of makeup tips that I did take, and doing my bottom lashes was one of them because I never used to do my bottom lashes. But when Miss Banks was like, doing your bottom lashes just balances the face, and I started doing my bottom lashes, I was like, oh, okay. I was afraid of doing my bottom lashes because I have like these like creases underneath it, and again with the raccoon eyes, I was just going crazy over the raccoon eyes. But having the right mascara is really going to help combat that. And I know we all make the face, so don't make no faces at me while I do this. And then I do also turn it vertically, horizontally, vertically. My northwest, east, south, all of that is off right now, but it's okay. But you see the difference it makes? It just makes it look so much more balanced. And so I appreciate that. Thank you. For some reason, it doesn't work if I don't do that full thing. All right. So last things last, it is the Maybelline Matte Ink. I don't know if I got it upside down. The Matte Ink Super Stay. And it is that brown lip that I adore. And it has this little, the wand, and it shows everything. Sorry, because I got add effects. Okay, no. It's asking me about hand gestures. Okay. And it shows everything is not what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say is that it helps for me to carve out my lips. Yes, I did. I wore this when I first went live. This is absolutely my favorite lip. And for a long time, Maybelline actually didn't have this. And I found this way back when I was out in the world, and then I couldn't find it again when I started wearing makeup again. And let me finish it before I start talking. And I'm not supposed to press my lips because it's a liquid lipstick. It's just going to smear. But it carves the lips so nicely. And I do overline because I have double lined lips, and it just looks so nice. It makes my lips look, well, I would say you can see the fullness of my lips after I do it. And that completes my soft glam, but I still have more to tell you guys about the things I've been going on and learning in this class. Okay, so let's go back to, I know I see myself and I'm like, oh, she's so pretty. Oh, I miss wearing makeup. It just adds that extra oomph for sure. Okay, let's go back to the back camera. Okay, so this is where we left off. Face card never declines. Okay, so I also want to talk about signature style. This was my style beforehand. Thank you. And while it was not bad per se, I had more of a like club style. And then this is my style now. And And did I have to go in my backyard and have my nephew help me to do a photo shoot? Yes, I did. Because one of the things that I realized while doing this project is that I actually don't take as many pictures of myself. And you can even see in some of the previous photos that I actually took stills from some of the videos that I recently posted on my TikTok. Thanks to Miss Banks because I was sure lacking. I was slacking on my now we all be taking more photos. Yes, absolutely. Um I was slacking and I needed to start posting before I couldn't post anymore. And that had been on my heart. And so I'm just so grateful that she challenged me to do that. And now I get to show up as the most beautiful me, the most confident me. And I still get to be that girl while also being this girl with this spiritual aptitude and the brains to match the beauty. All right. So my glam girl statement is adorn your outside to match what's inside. I want to conclude the class or my project by saying that this wasn't just makeup and clothes and finding signature styles for me. This truly helped me to have the confidence to step out on the next part of my journey. And I just did my makeup and I don't want to cry. It truly did, and it truly has. And I'm so grateful. He helped. He helped and he brought me you, Miss Banks. And I'm so grateful because I was praying and he delivered. I don't have peers. Everybody that I'm around at for my church is either older than me or younger than me. And to have somebody who looked like me kind of weirdly has a very similar life to me, even similar mannerisms and things like that, and just the way that she dresses, it's just amazing. And
No.
to be able to see that mirrored back to me really helped me to show up as my most glam and confident self. And I walk taller now. It's crazy because the bits of me that I was ashamed of, instead of just keeping them to myself or only talking to people when I came into contact with them in person,
Mhm.
this has really helped me to overcome public vulnerability.
Mm.
And I'm just so grateful.
Mm.
Alrighty.
I'm just so proud of you, girl. Like, I feel like the final exam, I wanted it to be strict in rules just to give you guys a guideline, but also give you so much freedom to express yourself and how this helped you make a radical shift in your own life. And you just exceeded my expectation. Not only just to
Oh,
have you in class and witness the change during both rounds of Glam Girl 101 on TikTok and on Instagram and YouTube. You've been with me for months. So I feel like we're sisters. We're not even we're family at this point. But to see it, like just the pictures, the stories behind it, the people in your life, the vulnerability, the I could go on and on. I'm very impressed. Final exam, the grade is A plus plus, my girl. It's just
Yay.
beautiful. I'm excited to watch it again, and to be blessed differently than I was in the moment, so I can just take it all in because you've just embodied you got everything you needed to get out of this course. You got it. And one of the things that you shared with me was this time you weren't going to miss a beat, and you didn't. And I'm just so proud of you because you got out of your own way and you gave yourself permission to take what's yours. You are so beautiful on the outside,
Thank you.
but so much more beautiful on the inside. And I'm just excited to see you just radiate as you post. just on Instagram, as you post on TikTok, as you post on your story, as you give yourself the freedom to just live life, no judgment, and you're no longer hiding. And the thing that you mentioned earlier that I really loved was,
Mhm.
it was me paraphrasing, it was along the lines of how God hides you, but you spoke about it as if the hiding season had ended and you were still there. And
Mhm.
I want you to know that when you decided to come out, whether I was an encouraging factor in that or not, I want you to know that it was time and the timing was perfect. You didn't stay
Mhm.
hidden too long. It was perfect. Sometimes we beat ourselves up about when we step out on faith. Everything is by divine timing. What's beautiful about God is He knows us. He knew us
Mhm.
before we even got here. He knows us better than we know ourselves. So He knows, that sometimes we just need the push. And just know that, like, for me to be in a position to push you, there were others to be in a position to push me. And so, if we have to change timelines because we're in a different time zone, if I have to move mountains to make sure that Jasmine Logan Williams gets to where she needs to be, Imma do it every time for you. Love
I
you
appreciate
down,
that.
girl.
I love you
This
down.
was this was art. This was art. Not just in the physical sense with the creativity, right? The canvas, the face card that you just painted, blush placement on the eyelid, noted. Uh-huh. But just the storytelling, the PowerPoint, the bar is here. There's others to present tomorrow as the week goes on before graduation. And I know they're equally as prepared, but if not, ladies, step it up, step it up. Because, wow, way to go out the gate, just blazing. I thank you. Grateful.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
Thank you. All right, girl.
Bye.
Period. All right. Jasmine was in the hot seat, but she isn't in the hot seat any longer. She did it. Man, I'm just so impressed. Glam Girl 101 is just skyrocketing. It literally is exactly where it needs to be. And I don't even know what direction it's going in. But every single week, it just blows my mind. And I'm just excited what God is doing here. Like Jasmine said, Glam Girl 101 is about so much more than just showing up and us doing hairstyles and talking about your wardrobe. It's intense. But I want you to know that it's a metaphor. You adorning yourself, doing your hair a certain way, wearing certain clothes that complement your skin tone, wearing certain shoes that may not be the most comfortable, but will make you look like you're walking on stilts in a room where you need to stand tall. This is all beneficial because it's helping you to step into who you are boldly and no longer hide. So when I go through each course, each week, each lesson, you need to be here. You need to be seated, taking notes, and ready to do what you said you're going to do. Because all in all, it'll bring you to the version of you that you can't even recognize, and no one around you can recognize because you're just unstoppable. So unstoppable that your identity has shifted to a stronger identity in Christ. And ultimately, the aura is bright. So yeah, so all I got to say is I thank Jasmine for showing up and showing out. And I thank you guys for watching. And for those of you who have yet to present, I'm excited. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye bye. The